Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Nightcap Knowledge. Put the kids to bed, get your nightcap. Put some on your head before you go to bed. DJ George Chuck coming to you all the way live from Gulfport, Mississippi by way of Black with No Chaser. Shout out to all my people in Jafrica. We are definitely keeping you at the front of our mind. And we got our hands on the plow. We're not going to let up. You are in more than our prayers. You are in our work. And we appreciate everybody for doing what they're doing for Jackson, Mississippi. If you can hear me right now, go ahead and share this live. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Nightcap Knowledge. We got to give a shout out to Jackson Rage Room. Jackson Rage Room is Central Mississippi's original rage and relaxation room located in Jackson, Mississippi. You can book your rage and relaxation session by going to rageroomjacksonmississippi.com. One time for the official water of Nightcap Knowledge, baby. It is Aspira Pure, refreshing taste, keeping it simple. Available at Amazon.com. The Mississippi School of Health Services and Careers can get your career in healthcare started today. You can hit them up online at mshscschool.com or give them a call 769-572-7490. You heard what I said. Put the kids to bed, get your nightcap. Nightcap Knowledge will be starting in just a few moments. Nightcap Knowledge, baby. One time for your.
Yeah.
What's happening, man?
Break the knob off.
Knob off.
Hey, man.
Look at Matt. Look, Matt, you done shaved, boy. You got fresh shave.
Yeah, that boy got that fresh clean.
Look at that boy.
Wagwan, boy. Wagwan, me boy. Me got me clean, me face, me smooth as a baby bottom. What's up, boy? What's up, Matthew?
Matthew already in the comments.
Already in that thing.
Mr. Blue Sky Stillwater, the celebrity hands to the stars.
Let me get some of them hands right quick.
Them hands.
Hands.
Put them hands on you.
You got 10 days till you get your shirt, Matthew. I ain't shipping nothing up there. I see you on the 16th, man.
Look, say that.
I'm gonna say them $3, dog.
Say that. You know, hey man, like, hey, come on, man. Come on, show up. Everybody, we are in the place.
Oh, wow.
Nightcap Knowledge. This show is rated black and uncensored, real talk, real issues, real solutions. And we're gonna tell it like it TIE is.
Right here on
Black with No Chaser.
Let's go.
Drop
That
that
was
He
shit.
said that.
Drop that shit.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
man. Hey, look, don't forget about this. Where are we right now?
Nightcap Knowledge. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Central.
Hey man.
Let's
Hey,
go.
Hey,
He in there. gotta go.
our budget gonna renew in about 24 days. So if you want to sponsor these drops, let us know.
Let's go.
Hey,
Sponsor these drops.
hey, if you want, hey, you know, Black August has passed, you know, but we still got Black September. It's all Black 365.
365, yes.
So if you would like to be a sponsor on the writer, if you would like to get on board, and you know someone that might need to be on this podcast, reach out to us. Right now, it's a good time to share this live. Share this live. Share this live. Share it.
This
In
live.
fact,
Share it.
let's do this. Let's
Share
go to
this live.
our personal pages and make sure that we share this mother.
Make sure we
Live.
get share this mother.
Hey, you know, iPod the DJ has a song that it actually says share this mother.
We need that. We need that. We need to see if we
I
can
like
do
that.
Yeah.
Hey, we know what?
You know what we need to do? We need to take Bootsy. You wanna run your mouth? Share this live. Nightcap Knowledge. Share this live. Nightcap
You
Knowledge.
want to talk? You want to run your mouth? We'll have them gangsters front your mother in house. We'll share this live.
Really?
Share this live.
Really? Hey.
They call
Hey,
it.
what y'all drinking over there? What y'all drinking?
I am drinking on my fat burner juice. Shout out to my girl Ronika with Juice to Juice. I got 3 days of juicing this week, and I'm back for 5 days. So I look. I had some tequila and some meth, and the cousin of tequila this week at mezcal. So I'm back to this.
But
I
hey,
dropped 14 pounds since August 16th.
damn.
Oh, that's what's up.
So between changing everything and
I can
not
tell.
beating myself up.
I can tell a lot of shit been happening.
A lot of shit been happening. They've been running shit, literally.
Who started? Who did that? Tonya.
My
Oh,
bad.
God.
No, let's get the show started because we got my sister coming in this thing, and we've been talking
Hey,
back and forth all
What you
day.
drinking, Chuck?
Oh yeah, we jaw drinking, and we. I got the triple mash thing again, man.
I'm doing like Tonya did.
I'm gonna send you money. Bring me a bottle.
This is my birthday week, and I'm gonna start this joke off with some Macallan.
What's your birthday? The 9th, the 8th,
Yeah, the 9th,
the
Friday.
9th. There you go.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna start this thing off tonight with the Macallan, baby. We're gonna jump in this
I
thing and do it like we do it.
I get a drink of
Macallan
McAllen
12.
on Friday. Come on.
Macallan
We gonna
12.
start this thing out right. Got
Hey,
Mr.
hey,
Mac in the
Hey,
house.
we're gonna make this thing work, man. Listen,
Come on.
big shout out to all of us because I'm telling you now, we make it. You know, we 40, we over 40.
Yeah.
We still doing what we
40 is
doing. What you say?
We look good.
We
Look,
still making it do what it do.
anytime people thinking I'm still in my late 20s, I'm like, thank you, boo.
Come on.
Like they giving me students be like, Miss Cannon, my mama older than you. And I'm like, how old your mama, baby? 32. I was like, oh, okay, how old you think I am? Like 29. Thank you.
Look at
Come
you.
on. Some of
I
that.
probably done taught your mama. You just don't know that.
Look at you. Look at you.
Done insulted your whole mama. Not your half of mama. You done insulted your whole mama.
Your whole mama. Pull
She don't even know. Hey, don't ask that.
She
Don't never ask children nothing. Don't
Wait,
ask children
you want
nothing
the
at
truth?
all.
Ask the child.
Don't
Ask
ask
the child.
children Nathania. Don't ask them nothing.
Then don't bribe them and tell them don't say something. They're gonna say it even more.
They're going to
Not
say
more, even more.
Mo. Don't ask them. If you don't want to know,
1,000%. Whatever you tell them not to say, they gonna say it.
That part.
What time is it? Oh,
It
hey,
is
look.
9:09.
Time for your healthy minute.
Hey, yeah, we're gonna jump into this thing, man. You know, we'll get on here and get to talking. So I picked the topic that was near and dear to what we have going on right now, and mental health minute for Motivational Monday was responsibility. And how is that important? Understanding in your mental capacity and emotional states that we have a responsibility not only to ourselves, but to our family, our friends, our community. And Jackson has been enduring a water crisis, not just Jackson, but some of the outsiding areas like Byram. We have Canton, we have Carthage, Camden, areas that were affected by the flood. And folks have been stepping up big time. You know, people that are dealing with the water crisis themselves has been stepping up and taking responsibility to make sure that their fellow man and fellow woman, brothers and sisters have something to drink, flushing water, have something to eat, and just making sure that they see people. You know, it's been lifting spirits just to see people responding. Now, you cannot do anything about negative energy because as and in giving credit to Pastor Pickett that said one time, people that talk crazy to you, they talk crazy to themselves. So they talk to themselves a certain way. They're angry with themselves and whatever they got going on in their life. So don't allow that negative energy to change the positive stuff that you're doing, taking responsibility for taking care of our community. A lot of times we did not put things in the situation that we find them, but we are here. We are in a better position than most. And then it's our responsibility to take charge and do something to help them. Because again, as I said, I said before, I'm saying again, it's not if something happens in your life or in your house or in your area where you want someone to help you. It's when it happens. And I know a lot of us have been affected by multiple natural disasters and different things. And we have tried to step up because someone stepped up and assisted us. So it's our responsibility to take care of us, regardless we're talking about within our own family, within our immediate family, within our friend circle, our fraternity, whatever organization it is, but in the Black community. We can't expect nobody to step up and do more for us than we're going to do for ourselves. So we must be responsible for ourselves. That is it.
That's what's up, man. I'm just asking folks to chime in the comments to let us know if Mr. Mac's Mental Health Minute is resonating with you. I mean, personal responsibility is huge. But I guess also what it made me think about, Mac, is personal responsibility is part of it, but you know, something that you want to be at all times is for yourself. You want to be a self-starter.
Yep.
Because I mean, you can feel responsible, but sometimes you ain't gonna do nothing. And it's a lot of people out there that know better, but they may not do better. So I think I'll leave it there on that note. Hey. Now, TBC,
what you got,
man?
Look, I literally was listening to everything Mac was saying. Also, one of my girlfriends, shout out to the CID unit, Asali, Nari, Val, all my people over there that's making sure that the Claiborne Initiative movement is happening. She just messaged me back. She sent me a video of Viola Davis talking about being a Black woman and being a Black artist in general and how hard it is for us and how much work it takes for us. And it spoke to me because with the music check-in, we're getting ready for In the Living Room is coming up September 16th. Myself, my girl Stephanie, and we have DJ George Chuck on the ones and the twos. Let me tell you how powerful and motivating that man with that hat on up there, constantly inspiring and saying, no, you gonna do it. He didn't say those words, but he was like, it's gonna happen. Because I assumed one thing and he held me accountable and I had to come back and apologize and say, you know what, I did do that to make it happen. Now, with that being said, we need you guys to get your tickets because once they sell out, they sell out. This is going to be a night of intimate conversations through music, intimate moments. No cell phones will be allowed to be used. You cannot video, you cannot photo any of the concert. That won't happen until after the concert. You can take your pictures and talk about it then, but we want you to be heavily into the moment of this conversation of in the living room. So get your tickets. The link is in the chat box, the comment section. We're waiting. We're going to be excited. We're going to be at the Yellow House, 111, powerful numbers, Ashe to the ancestors, Church Street, right on the corner of Farish and Church. Come and get your souls fed in the living room, through music, through conversation, and just some release. And look, it's going to be one of those moments. And with that being said, one of those moments, because my sister just jumped in here.
Whoa.
And get it started, because let me tell you something. People always ask me, how do I do it, right? And I literally, I need to send Chuck the video, but Sunni blessed me.
Send me the video.
She's been blessing me in so many ways. And we go back like over 20 years. Like this sister, and I'll let her tell you how much we go back, but I'm going to roast and give her flowers now. This sister, to this day, I can text her, I can call her I don't care what's on my mind. I don't care what thoughts I have. Sometimes I won't even text her and she'll instantly say, you were in my spirit. I had to send you. She blessed me with these affirmation cards that are more than just affirmation to me. They're intentional cards, because she said, you got to be intentional in everything that you do. And so ever since, she's been blessing me and gifting me and just gifting the world with the talents that she has. It's amazing how things turn full circle, because now I teach her babies. And her baby boy told me on Saturday at the auditions, he says, what's your name? I said, Tonya. He said, what's your last name? I said, Boy Cannon. You're my friend. He said, because he said, you're my best friend. You're my friend. You're my best friend in the world. You're beautiful, something like that. And he said, and you're the best, or something like, I can't remember. Like I had to hold myself. I was a thug. I had to hold it together, because he almost made me cry. And I remember when Sunni was pregnant with him, it was just a moment that she and I shared. And here we are, full circle.
Yeah.
With Ozzy singing and Kansu telling me I'm his best friend. Just words from children. Again, we said children tell the truth. So with that being said, this mother, this elder, she is my elder. We're the same age, but this wisdom that this sister has is so profound. She's an alien. She's an alien, and the ancestors are surrounding her. So get your hearts, minds, and spirits ready to be fed, to be just given all kind of lights and gems. Take your notepads out. Bring into the center of the stage.
Come on.
Sister Warren Easton marches on with Sunni Patterson.
I'm sorry, I'm super bootleg. I had to be in the car. I'm sorry. Look, I've been in meetings all day.
Come on.
I literally could not go inside because I could not tell the children that I was going to have to go in another room for quiet. Yeah. So I just had to do this in the car.
You got it. Yeah. I understand. I apologize.
Yes.
That's what's up, man.
Good. Sunni. Look, I'm gonna send Chuck the video later. But I was telling just this sister, we go way.
Yes.
And I don't know if y'all recently saw that. I can't think of the article, but they reposted Sunni's poem. Like, she's done a poem for Serena Williams 3 times, Sunni.
Yep, 3.
3 times for Serena Williams. I'm going to tag you in that post right now, Chuck, so you can share that on the screen. That she introduced herself to our Nightcap Knowledge family, our Nightcappers. Sunni Patterson, tell them who you are. Look, we all know, but still, I know, just go ahead.
Oh my gosh, I'm me. Yeah. So I'm a mama and a poet and a magician when I need to be. You know, we know how to make many things happen. Alchemists. We tend to create things out of nothing.
Yeah.
Quite often. But you know, the nothing of nothing, the thing that you don't see. We give thanks for the nothing. There's a poem, it's just making me think about this. There's a poem, it's written by this Jewish woman, though. I can't even call her name right now, but she says, speaking about this aspect of the mother side of God, right? But she says, Daddy God never wants me to see Mommy God as something. He always wants me to see Mommy God as nothing. And then she says, so we give thanks for the nothing. Hole in the flute, nothing. Hole in the pot, nothing. Right? So she goes into all of these things that's nothing. But without that nothing, you would not have the flute, right? Without that nothing, you would not have a pot, right? Things like this. So anyway, I'm saying all of that of what we do as women in this way, and especially as an artist, a woman artist, and who has to bring in this aspect of mother and health worker and spiritual worker and everything that we, you know, everything that is done on a daily basis of taking a whole lot of nothing, whether it's the idea of the nothing that is the thing that is unseen and putting it into a space that is seen. So, you know, for having the ability to do that, it's a gracious kind of place, you know. So I don't know, that's a bit of who I am. I like to cook, I like to draw and paint. All right.
Y'all see what I mean when I say she's an alien? Like, she's so profound in the way ancestors speak and how she speaks. It's something that you can't do nothing but sit still and listen, because it's grandmama talking, it's auntie talking, and they're speaking through this vessel. And when she starts to talk, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm listening to all of you. What keeps you going, Sunny?
Lord, the grace of God. Because sometimes I be like, I'm over it. But no, no, it's, you know, I really have a desire, and I'm motivated by service in this way. So I'm motivated by the ability to I'm motivated by my own aha moments and other people's aha moments. So I'm motivated by being able to, I'm very deliberate and intentional about connection. So if I'm doing anything, my aim is always to show just that connection, and to show that separation is really an illusion. And we've come to believe in the illusion. So we kind of have experiences, right, that validate those beliefs. So the biggest thing for me is what motivates me is having the ability to serve in a way that allows people to see their own connecting parts, to bring people to usher people into their own remembrance of themselves. That motivates me in a way. And when I'm saying remember, I'm saying remember in the most full sense of the word. Like remember, like really to put ourselves together, to put ourselves back together again, right? And what that looks like and feels like. And so then it's I didn't even know that was over here. I didn't even know I left my heart at home. I didn't even know I left my spirit in the bed before I came to work. I didn't even realize I did that. Or even if you did realize that that's something that's done, to show that it doesn't have to be done that way, if that makes sense, right? So that motivates me. It motivates me to be able to show like, look, that's you. This big shining ball of light, that's you. You know, so I'm in love with that part, right? And what that means and feels like and looks like, as, you know, just being a reminder along the path. That's really what it is. I don't know if it's a guide in that way, but it's just a person who kind of knows how to remind others of what it means to connect to the highest parts of themselves, you know.
Wow. Go ahead,
Sonny,
Chuck. Your
yeah.
cousin.
So look, I don't know if you remember me, but you did work with the Southern Rural Black Women's Initiative at Tate
Hey, yes, absolutely.
for a number of years. So when you
Tanya,
were
I just brought them up to Tanya
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep.
so I was typically maybe one of two men that were allowed in the space.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
And I was the media
You
AV
was everything. Yeah. You was everything.
So the question is one, thank you for that. For you always being available to those young women, because a lot of them that I see now, they're doing great things, right?
Yeah.
Some of them working in higher education. I know a few of them are still a part of organizations that they matriculated through, and now they're leading those organizations.
Deep.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask you, you mentioned that you've been in meetings. Like what do you what you meeting about these days, and what are you working on, and some of that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So what Tuesdays is always a long day. So Tuesdays for me starts pretty early. So aside from, I don't necessarily want to say aside from being a poet and doing that aspect of work, because that's brought into every area, right? So this one is this aspect of community health work. So with that community health work is what we do is we train artists and culture bearers to be able to go into communities to really kind of navigate communities to public health services. So we've partnered with, as far as the center, Ashe Cultural Arts Center, we have partnered with hospitals. So that's New Orleans East Hospital. It's Ashe Cultural Arts Center, Tulane, everything. So we've come up with a program that's called I Deserve It. So we assign health workers and who, again, are artists and musicians, because this comes from the space of it's the artist and it's the musician who is the most trusted. So the artist, right, is the one who is always able to find a pulse of the people. So if it's not for the artist, unless the politician is one who can tap into that art, their own personal, authentic art, unless they are that, they will not be able to find the pulse of the people in the way that a musician can, in a way that a certain note can, in a way that a certain word can, in a way that a certain tone and move and things like this can. You can be trained in tricks, but when we're talking to really getting to the heart of people and really, again, finding the pulse, that's when you got to thank God for the artist. That's when you thank God for the poet and the musician and the visual artist that's able to get to the part. That's the biggest thing for me, to be able to create things that that speak to the parts of people that make decisions. So a lot of times we can say all of these things, but the reality is that if we're not speaking, again, just that to the heart, to the spirit, and we're able to bring that in with some intellect, because we know it's not just about, oh, I feel good and it's all just, it's not, we know it's not, not always that, right? But I do know that I do have to appeal to that if I want a lasting change, right? So we go in with this view. So we train, as far as, again, artists, culture bearers, to do this work in the world, specifically in New Orleans. So there are a few groups. It's a whole bunch of things that happen, but it's a few groups, what we call the artist influencer group, and then there are some who are, other ones who may not necessarily be artists, but they work in the hospital field. They work in the nursing area. All of these kind of things. So the thing is, how do we merge this art and science? How do we bring this aspect again together so that we are creating lasting changes, especially when Louisiana ranks 50th in health outcomes? Not, and not only has it ranked 50th in health outcomes, like recently, this has been for many, many, many years, right? So when we're looking at something like this says something. When we look at the life expectancy between Black New Orleanians and white New Orleanians, we're looking at a gap of 30 years. So this says something. right? So this is where the artist in this way comes in to create art that brings this aspect of activism, that brings this aspect of protest, that brings this aspect of empowerment, that brings this aspect of wellness. You know, I'm reminded of Malcolm X when we look at these things. It was like, you know, basically paraphrasing, but that when we come together, right, even illness becomes wellness, right? So that means that, again, back to this thing of separation and why. So even when I'm saying that this thing of separation is an illusion, what I'm saying is that if we can snap out of it, right? And even though, you know, like they say, if it was a fifth, right, we'd all be drunk. But the other part to that is as well, there's still power at the same time in that if, because it's what allows us to be able to dream in a place that doesn't always allow us to dream, right?
Yeah.
So if I want to dream of, now that's going back again to this aspect of expectancy. What do I expect, right? So especially when we live in a society that tells us what? Hope for the best, but expect the worst. So when that type of thing is riding through our psyche, when that type of thing is riding through the collective consciousness, and we're only expecting the worst, then that's a big problem.
Wow.
Because now it goes to, why do I expect the worst? It's another thing to be like, I'm here and I'm expecting the best. That's a whole nother mindset. Right?
Whole different type of mindset.
Yeah. So this is what this aspect of art does, and why we felt like, you know, the artist and the culture bearer is one to bring this. I wish my computer was working. It ain't. To you know, because the thing is to share this. It's a community wellness manifesto that is extremely important. It's something that we share in every community. The thing is, we've broken up the city into zip codes, right? So we've broken it up so that each health worker is assigned a zip code. Yeah. And, you know, they just get out and do the work. But the first zip code, you know, the biggest thing for me, especially with doing this kind of work and wellness work, community wellness work, is first, what is my own community? Meaning this body that I'm in, this house that I'm in. How safe do I feel here? Right? How much grace am I giving myself here? Am I taking care of this particular home, these systems that run through my own body, my respiratory system, my nervous system, my kidney, my spleen, my this, my that, everything that comes about, right? So these are things that we have to consider, especially with doing service work. It's this thing of self-care that is extremely important. So that's the, you know, the biggest part where I always like to start. Which goes to, yes, there's this I, but then we move to the collective I that also becomes this we. So back again to, you know, Malcolm X, when it is the I in illness, when all of these things are put together, these systems are working for our greatest and highest good, it then truly becomes we for wellness. So that's the biggest, you know, the biggest thing for me. So a lot of the meetings are centered around that. I work with a lot of organizations and you know, schools and conferences and everything to summarize and put things together and write poems and you know, all of the good stuff that comes. So the days and readings and sessions and coaching sessions.
Funny is, you know, like and I've always said this to her face to face. That's why I love our relationships. Like, we have always been straightforward, right? Since high school.
No, yes. Listen, Tonya was, hold on, you know, how you know Tonya, how you see Tonya? This is Tonya. Do you understand what I'm saying? Tonya direct the choir. Look, it was the choir. Now we had a teacher, okay?
Yeah. The teacher didn't have.
What? We had a teacher, Miss D. Miss D.
Move on the side.
Miss Demarest. She gonna go there. She might play the piano. She gonna sit there. She might play the piano. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is conducting the school choir?
Tonya.
Tonya boy. You understand?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's who's conducting the choir. Okay. Then at one point we had a little break off choir.
Did this choir have a name? What was?
I can't remember. Now,
we had our ensemble. We had the Warren Easton choir, school choir. Then we had the ensemble, the smaller group. But look, let me tell you, Sunny was always, she's like, what you see now? How she's, I ain't singing no soprano. I'm gonna stay right here at the altos. You hear my voice?
Listen. Then she give you a song. Sonny, I need you to sing. But then you know she hit you. Sing that part. You're like,
look,
listen. Always.
It's going like we have. It's so beautiful because now that I watch her kids sing, because I was going to speak to the fact that the way she's saying how she helps the community, that's at home. Like at home, each one of her kids, they're just a different community. Like the way they conduct themselves within the arts, within just who they are. And I watch what I love, and I don't think we talk about this a lot as adults, but we have to learn to be students of our children because they'll teach us.
Yes.
For sure.
So I watch how she watches them and learn from them. Because what I've learned from watching my own children at home and my students is they're very observant.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll turn their head and they'll just begin to say something that's so elaborate, eloquent, and just profound. And you're like, that's from a kid? You know what I'm saying? So it's like the Bible said, God take care of babies and fools.
Yeah.
Oh, when he take care of them babies and those babies start speaking to you. And
you become a fool and you realize you're the fool.
There we go. There we go.
In the care all the time.
There we go. Look. And look, I love you too, Tara. We got Laterica, and it says, "Speak, Sunny." She's so happy. She was glad she was able to jump on.
Oh,
Shayla, I hope I'm saying it right. Shayla. She said yes, finding the pulse of people in order to correct them. And Alina, you know we love you, Lena Bina. Alina,
look, I can't see nothing. All this look. I'm squinting over here.
Look.
Mama Lewa, spiritual consultation. Say, hey, Sunny,
hey, Mama Lewa. That's our librarian.
See, look, this community of Black with No Chaser, Nightcap Knowledge. We just want the world to know that we have every reach, whatever the spectrum, the entity is, we have it within our own communities.
Oh, absolutely.
And everybody's always asking, what's the cost? Sometimes it don't cost here. It just costs your time. You know, it costs,
and that's a cost. Yeah. Well, that's like they say, that's our greatest currency, you know, in that way, So that's a big thing. Just relationships. It's a big thing, and how we are building and fostering and cultivating and creating relationships, because that's really what this whole thing, how we are moving, how we are not moving. It's all relationship. How I'm relating to myself, me to me, me to me, right. Me to all of me's, right? You to you, how I'm relating to you, how we're relating to one another. That's really what this whole thing is about. People tend to only hear, when they hear relationships, they only think about these very intimate, they only think about these kind of things. But the reality is that, man, listen, I read something, I'm big on words, right? So like the etymology of a word, right? So I looked at this thing of the ship, right? So when ship, SHIP, I thought this was something. When ship, and I was only dealing with this from the space of just that relationship and intimacy, but looking at this from the core relationship, meaning how I'm, again, relating to myself, how I see God, how I view God, all of these kind of things, and what this looks like to be able to go from, so in the tradition, right, that I'm initiated into, it's a lot that can be a lot of ritual. And I don't want to say this in this way because quite often people sometimes hear ritual and they think boogity woogity woogity, right? Mm-hmm. But if you get up in the morning and brush your teeth, sometimes you notice you always start on the left side. Right?
Yeah.
All of these things, we've ritualized so much of our lives that we don't look at it as ritual because we're so used to adding or putting another kind of experience on ritual, when these are just simple things that are being done on an everyday basis. So whatever habits we've picked up, even some people have created a ritual out of thinking very low of themselves, right? So some people, if you notice that it might be a person that can talk themselves out
Sunny?
of... Yeah.
Oh.
I think that...
Chuck,
We can hear you, Tonya. Can you hear us?
I
is it
hear you.
frozen on
Yeah.
my end?
Uh-oh.
Okay, there we are. There we
That
are.
was you. That's you. I saw that click. I saw the click.
Tanya, you have bootleg internet.
Hold on, time out. Flag on the play. No, sir. No, sir.
Listen,
Right?
I
No,
saw
sir.
that little
I have
click come
all
in.
of my bars. I have
Baby, you
all
on
of my
bars?
bars.
You on bars?
I got like all of my little bars like that.
You got
Yeah,
this. You got them little things like that.
Yeah, they do that, and then they do that, and then they do that.
You supposed to plug into your router. Look, you.
No, I'm good.
Look, here I go. Let me make sure I'm plugged in.
See? It was not me, y'all.
I'm in the car. You know, I'm in the car, so anything liable to happen. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
We used to that, but Tanya has another level of responsibility now.
There you go. You see. Okay. Now we on top.
Yeah. You interrupted Sunny, and she was making a point.
Don't have me leave out the room and come back because I know how to do it now. But look.
I love it.
I'm sorry. No, Sunny, look, shout out to Kaumba Academy, which is part of the Ashe Center.
Hey, Kaumba Academy. That's
yeah. So, and somebody said, what would we do without blocks? So keep going, Sunny. You're in your office soul. Let's go office soul. Keep it going.
So we were talking about the ships.
Yeah.
So it was the ships. When ship, they say, right, is added to a word. This is deep. This was so deep to me. So ship, SHIP, because we were talking about this aspect of ritual, right? So the thing for me was, and I brought in this spiritual system because it's quite often people can get very used to doing things, rituals and cooking, just doing things, right? But many don't know why it's being done, right? So what happens is that how do we go, and that's the biggest part for me, to go from ritual to relationship. And so in order to look at relationship, so we had to look at, right, this aspect of the word. So when looking at ship, and so this was a big thing for me, creating intimacy, because in order to go from ritual to relationship, there has to be a level of intimacy that is, it's a certain closeness, right? It goes beyond a believing into a knowing, into the space that allows you where there's another knowing here, right? With intimacy. So when ship is added to a word, SHIP, and C, meaning CY, right? Even that in and of itself says something. Oh, because ships go on water. So I'm looking at the sea as a sea, right? So even when we see these things, currency, we see all of these words that end with C, there's a reason why, right? So then we look at the ship and the sea. It says that when ship is added to a word, look at this. This was so deep to me. When it's added to a word, it gives it an essence of existence. That's one.
Yeah.
It adds a level of power. That's another. It also, even that, going back to existence, so to exist, it means to allow something to be, right? Something to come into existence, right? So that's a thing. But then it also means, look at this one, to ordain. I say, man, this is deep. That's when you start looking down. Have I been in a relationship or a relationship, right? So these are things, right, that you want to think about. No, these are things that you want to think about, right? Because ships, what you know about a ship, right, is that it don't belong on the street. It belongs on water. So you know that when a relationship, and there are many other words with ship that comes at the end, because whatever ship is added to, there is this level of something that it brings it into another space now, right? Just like with the sea. So, okay, we have this. And I was like, man, this is something that's deep. And that's when you start looking at, dang, how many have I been in a relationship really where I have allowed true existence, where I have really ordained it in a way that allows a person to come into existence over and over again. Because that's really what happens, right? That it's quite often we are not always allowed to exist in the form that we are in. It's many times in a lot of relationships, people expect a certain thing of you, and that thing quite often has to fit another person's standard or expectation. And people would say all the time, well, I have no expectations. Well, that's foolish, right? At the same time, but then it is also that you still have to have, are we confusing expectation in this sense with boundaries? Is that a thing? Is it where, and even in that sense of expectation, I know that that's not something that I have to necessarily live up to, but the expectation that I have of myself is the first one that matters, because my first core relationship is how I'm relating to me. So this particular relationship. So how am I riding in this boat?
Yeah.
What waters am I covering? How much terrain, right? How does this work? How is the sea? How is my sea moving? Right? How is my ship?
What am I allowing to be, and
have
what
a
am I
sturdy-
ordaining?
Say it again.
I was saying, as you say, what am I allowing it to be, and what am I ordaining within myself? Within myself.
That's it. So even when we look at ordained, like, what am I deeming as holy? So that's the biggest part. What do I deem as holy in these relationships? And then you look at what it is that we begin to value. Why do I say we value it? Because there are certain things that we pay more attention to. We talk about this often with paying attention. It's a reason why people don't say you have to pay intention, but you do pay attention. Right? So the thing about an intention, that's where I had to think about this, like, oh, well, intention is an aspect of time. So time, because intention can be a future thing. Why can intention be a future thing? If intention can be a future thing, because it's sometimes something. So the thing is, what it is that you have an intention about, you're being intentional about a thing. But while this thing is happening, or while you may perceive it as not happening, there are certain things that I must do in order to fulfill this intention. So there is a certain attention that I have to pay in order for this intention to be filled, if that makes sense, right? So the thing is, now, what am I paying attention to? And it's the reason why you have to pay it. So I was like, wow, this is deep, because it's quite often that what we've paid attention to are the things that will not serve us, or the things that don't bring us joy, or the things that we only want to change, or all of these things, and we pay it more attention. And then before you know it, it shows what we value, because really you pay for what you value.
Yeah.
So now that's when I have to look like, damn, I done paid this bill, I don't know how many times. I was just sitting at a meeting early, and I was like, it's something for me to say to Entergy, take this extra 500. I will never say that to Entergy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Understand what I'm saying? I would never say it. So it's like it's like this. Like, how much am I paying? How much am I paying this low level thought? How much am I paying this low frequency? How much am I paying this unworthiness? How much am I paying this lack? How much am I paying? All of these kind of things. And it's like, damn, and then before you know it, you have given this all of your time.
Yeah.
You've given this all, you've paid it.
Yeah. You've invested all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a big thing with relationships. So it's always going to be first and foremost, how am I bringing together? It's the ultimate marriage of these principles within myself, this masculine and feminine principle that we've so mistaken for. We hear masculine and we only think man or male, and then we hear feminine and we only think woman and female. But the reality is that we are comprised of these two principles and these two dynamics. But it's only because, and we think it's only because we've been under the tutelage and destruction of destroyers for so long that we only see God through their eyes. We only see this one-sided God. We only see this punisher God. We only see this God that can't even give you anything, because you have to say prayers where you feel unworthy. You have to do this. And we're taught this. And so I grew up very Catholic, right? In New Orleans. Yeah. So you have prayers, right? In the Catholic Church. Lord, I'm not worthy to receive you, but I only say the word and I shall be healed, right? So it's a lot of people who might never hear that word. Yeah. So they only go on feeling unworthy. Oh, Lord, I'm so unworthy. I'm not worthy. But it's like, this is deep, because I just don't believe that God made you as such. Right. So that's a whole nother piece. So, really, this is the hardest part with doing this kind of work, that ultimately what we're asking of people is to come out of an old belief that doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
But then that's when you start looking and you say, oh, well, maybe it is serving you. Because it can serve you to only be engulfed in your hurt. Why can it serve you? Because it gives you rewards. It gives us rewards when we are hurt, when things are happening, when it's this, when it's that, and so forth and so on. What are the rewards? It can be a whole lot of rewards that come from being invested in hurt, that come from being invested in pain. We have whole nonprofits that centered around hurt, pain, and everything else. You understand? We have whole businesses that's situated for it. We have people who come and pay good money to have other people to join in on their hurt and their pain. So the thing is, are we really willing and are we really ready to have whole relationships that allow us to move from a space of light and joy and healed, a healed vibration that allows us to go into places and be ourselves? Like really be ourselves. And it's hard sometimes. It's hard because that's when we start realizing, like, damn, I've been connected to somebody else's view and idea of what I should
realities.
For a long time. So it takes some courage. So this is why we always have to have grace. This is why these relationships are so important, that we are, that's why I'm saying, am I a safe place? We say that when, you come into spaces. Oh, this is a safe place. That's the thing. You understand what I'm saying? But the reality is that, we talk about this often. Myself and a sister of mine, Chauncey, we facilitate these retreats called the Ready Woman Retreat. And we say this all the time. This may not be a safe space, because no matter what you do, sometimes trauma is so real and so hard for some people that no matter what you do, they will still not feel safe. So the only thing that I can promise is that this space, though, is a sacred space. Right. It is sacred, right? Yeah. It has been deemed as holy. We have created, from the lighting to the intention to the this to the smells to all of these kind of things. We've created this space. We've cultivated this space of sacredness. And within that, because this space has been created as such, the only thing we can do is guide you to a space, usher you into a space that can allow you to drop your, here my children come. that allow you to drop your pretenses, that allow you to drop your stuff. I'm coming, man. I'm on the phone. No, you can't come in yet. I'm coming. I'm on the phone.
That's Kansu.
That's Kansu.
Oh, my boo. That's my boo.
So
coming.
So look, Sunny, I got this thought in my head, and
what's that?
You talked about rituals for a moment, but then you were talking about operating within boundaries or an existence that has been created by other people. So it's like, if you operate within these boundaries, or this particular relationship that might not be the best relationship for you, and you start to ritualize the things and the expectations that this other person or this other entity has set for you, then you begin to lose yourself in that. It made me think about, I guess, those of us that are a part of the diaspora that live in America, these United States.
Yeah.
Especially when you started talking about our relationship with politics.
Yeah. So
one person that I believe that was able to, and I'm wrapping a couple things together, that didn't subscribe to politics, but they were able to speak to the hearts and minds of people.
Yeah.
As a true artist and a person that cared for the entire person.
Yeah.
That was Chokwe Lumumba.
Yes.
Baba Chokwe.
Yes. Yes, for sure.
And he was one of my mentors. So my reason for asking you this question because I know that Tonya has spoke about the ancestors that are encompassing you. Who are the people that you subscribe to now that you would refer to as people that create safe space for you when you need an ear? These folks that you know that are people that not only operate inside of spaces like what you're doing in terms of
Mhm.
policy and community and in the artist realm. Who are the folks that you subscribe to, and how are you connected to them?
Okay, so the first person, there are a few people I will
Yeah.
name, but one who comes, the very first person that came to mind was a dear teacher and mentor of mine. His name was Ackland Lynch. Um, that's one. My Oluo, who I call my who's is my Oluo or spiritual godfather, Obafemi Fayemi. That's another. My godmother, my spiritual godmother. Her name is Chief Oshun Monife Balewa. That's one. So these are people who I'm with on a very regular basis. I have a great circle of people to
Yeah.
pull. So I'm fortunate in that sense. I'm because I'm one who I don't believe in not, how do I say this? Let me say what I believe in.
Yeah.
I believe in gathering, learning, and sitting at the feet of people to receive advice, counsel, to correction when needed, right? I believe in this thing. I believe in this aspect of community teachers. So there's a Nana Anawa Nantambu, who's here in uh, New Orleans. I have uh, uh, Shango Dare, who's another priest in Babalawo, who I consider, I mean, just very learned. So many people who I just, again, have the ability. Mama Minhati, who's a masseuse and just does energy work and everything here. Um, there's, of course, I got my Mama Jennifer and Mama Vera over at Community Book Center. There's my own family, right? My sister, Tyra, my sister's Tia, my mama, all of these people. I can go on and on. But then when we're also talking about this aspect of that's really doing this kind of work, again, my circle of folks, when I think about what Tueri is doing, who's my cousin and sister and friend in this way, Tueri Burns, who um, is the director and founder of Bar None, with dealing with resocialization and arts and justice and everything that comes with exoneration and all of these kind of things, and what that means to have this kind of spirit. When I think about Asali Devine, who's Asali Devine Ecclesiastes, who's a sister of mine who is CEO of Ashe Cultural Arts Center.
Yeah.
When I think about my other sister, Sherelle Blazer Egbeyinka, we founded an organization together called Breath is Life. She, again, merging this aspect of art and science. She's an atmospheric chemist, so she has to travel all over the world, looking at policy and dealing with this aspect of environment and climate and things like this, and what this means to bring this. We also founded the Algiers Ancestor Festival together, so that's coming up November 4th.
November
That's a whole
4th.
nother thing.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. So I think about people who particularly my spiritual godparents, who, so what was coming up, and then what I was not trying to say, but I think that's still adequate, which is who are responsible for birthing me into the spiritual tradition in order for me to have these necessary tools to be able to decide and divine for myself and for community. So that makes a big difference for me, because my basis is always going to be my spiritual life. I'm everything else. Listen, poetry and music and song, all of these, I mean, these are really what they really are door openers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But the essence of my work is always based in spirit and connection. That is it. What does it mean to remind and remember our gifts? What it is to remind and remember our voice? What it means to, remember that we existed in places that this present, even the sound and spelling of the word.
Yeah.
That aspect of presence, the presence of a thing, being here, right now, present, the present of a thing, the gift of time, but the present of a thing, the present aspect of this very moment, and what that means for us, right? So what does it mean to be people who experience this aspect of time travel? What it means to be in the now and know that it in and of itself is a present moment. It in and of itself is one that is still filled with hope and desire and a longing for a future that I expect to be great.
Wow.
Right? So I'm grateful to be able to have people, mother, sister, Sakil, Reverend Kiana, who these are people who I'm grateful to call sister. I'm grateful to call friend. Tonya. We talk about Tonya. Listen, when you talk about Tonya, okay, how do I say this? All right. So it's this thing of this ancestral realm, because it's quite often that people don't always like to talk about this aspect because, again, we have been taught to fear the things that we cannot see until you start seeing them. And then you still fear it until the seeing is done with a certain kind of eye and the hearing is done with a certain kind of ear. Right? So that's like when people ask, what does the voice of God sound like? Okay. Well, to me, it could very well sound like me. To you, it could very well sound like you. Right? However, to me, yes, it sounds like me, but what I also know that I'm hearing when Tonya is singing is still the voice of God. I know when Chuck is speaking, I'm still hearing the voice of God. I know when anybody comes up, because what I know of God is that it is not bound by the limitations that I may have and the limitation that I have set up for this vast omnipresent. And we say that, we say, oh, omnipresent. We say omniscient. We say all of these things, but the reality is that, well, no, I don't mean that he's over there. I mean just right here in this part. Right? So it's like, no, I'm really talking about everywhere. Yeah. So when we're talking about this aspect of these ancestors, right? See, we say little things until we get a whiff and say, oh, God, it reminded me of my grandmother. That smelled like a perfume my grandmother used to wear. Oh, God, the smell this reminded me of, a particular food. This reminded me of this. Okay, so I'm bringing Tonya up because I remember us, and I hope that I can say this. Forgive me if we can't, because
no, you can't.
Because I'm gonna keep saying it. Okay, but we were talking about this aspect, right, of just ancestor work. And it was something because it's like what Tonya does, and I'm saying this not just from a space of knowing her and being in choirs and knowing her for this long and being under even her direction in this way, but I'm saying how that has gone from the 90s up to now. One most significant part where Tonya ushered all of us into a space was at my father's funeral, right? Now, this is deep because the thing for Tonya was that it was almost like I don't know if I'm doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't, right? But it's not that I don't know what I'm doing, as in I don't know what I'm, how to sing. I don't know such and such. But it's really making the connection between Tonya. you usher people in, not just us, right? Not just the people who are here, but you usher people in, the ones who, yes, we might see them, we might see the clothes, we might see the body, right, laying in this coffin, but you're ushering in this essence into a space. See, we think about the home going, that's what we call it here. But when you think about a homecoming, so what am I saying? I went to Tuskegee University. I graduated from Tuskegee University. Anybody that's graduated from anywhere knows that when you go for homecoming, homecoming is the time, right?
Yeah.
Homecoming is like, oh, I'm about to see everybody. It's about to be lit, blah, 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 blah. We about to do this. We about to do that.
Going down.
Here comes this essence of a soul that has to be ushered in to this space, this heavenly realm, right? If we could animate it this way, right? To be ushered into this heavenly realm. Can you imagine the homecoming that's there?
Wow.
Can you imagine what it is? Yeah, you can imagine, because you've been to homecoming for your university. You've been to a homecoming if you've had to travel a far distance, and then you come back, and if you have children, you know that your children, oh my God, they hugging you, they doing this, they doing that. So when I think of this, right, and I think of this aspect of a home going, like what it is that she is so skilled enough to do, what it is that she's so trained enough to do, but now there's an intention that's there with it, knowing that I'm not just singing songs for you to feel good. That's very important. But it goes from, I'm also singing songs to usher you into a different dimension, because right now you're going to have to exist without the physical presence of this person being here. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. That's a thing when it comes down to, listen, do you know how many people said to me after Tonya sang for my daddy's funeral? Look, when I die, I want that girl that had them, I want that girl that had them All Stars on. That was playing that organ. I want her to sing for me. Look, I had an aunt, my Auntie Deborah. Auntie Deborah said, I knew she was about to tear it up when I saw them shoes she had on. I knew she was about to tear it up when I saw she had tennis shoes on. You understand? So it's things like this that play a part when we're talking about this aspect of how are we using our gift to open us up, to expand us into a space, but also if we are truly using our gift and truly being authentic with who we are and what we are doing and how we are doing it and everything else. And even that how can change and shift and all of these kind of things, right? Yeah. But if we are authentic with who it is that we are, with our gifts and all of these kind of things, then what it allows us to do is open up. And then what that does, that opening, it allows other people to open up. It gives people permission that you too, this is for you, and for you, and for you, and for you, and for you. There's a divine kind of permission that comes with this. So I'm grateful to say that I have teachers who are skilled, who are experts at what it means to bring a gift to a place that may not always seem, it don't always seem like poetry can go in these spaces. Yeah. It don't always seem like this song can go in these spaces, but the reality is that you can look up and everybody needs to learn the art. I don't care if you're a scientist, a mathematician, or this or that. You still have to know the art of math. You still have to know the art of science. You still have to know the art. This is a practice. So we're all practitioners of what it is that we have come to do in the world. Now, does practice make perfect? Not all the time.
Right.
Because perfect, my mama told me one time, she said, you always think you got to do your best. Me, I was like, yeah, you know, but she said, but the thing is, your best can change at any given moment, but it can change at any given moment because each moment requires a different best.
There you go. There you go.
Right? So my best right now, this is a different best from what I'm about to have to do when I get in the house.
Yeah.
This is a different best from what I'm gonna have to do in the morning. This is a different bet, right? So all of these kind of things. So it really goes to, and that's the whole part with, listen, things can happen literally in a blink of an eye. That's all you think about somebody dying. Somebody asked me one time, well, what is a moment? I said, well, a moment, I said, this is deep because a moment can be as quick as an eye blink. So, and I'm only saying that because there are two times that I think of a moment. One moment is at the change of a thought. The other moment is the blink of an eye, because life and death can happen in between blinks.
Yeah.
In between blinks. So when I think about how many times we have all blinked collectively within this call, it's people that could be dropping like this. I don't know that, right? But I do know that I'm being given an opportunity to breathe in and breathe out and to complete that breath. Like if I breathe in and don't breathe out, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So this is about the completion of breath. So even when I'm saying the completion of breath, when I look at what spirit means and I understand that spirit is translated back again to etymologically as this aspect of breath, then I'm grateful that I have spirit moving through me in this way. Even when I look at this particular time, when it's been a fight and an attack on a respiratory system, a re-spiriting system over and over and over and over again.
You preaching so much. I'm taking notes in my phone. Shout out to Dr. Courtney Bryant, my professor over at Tulane.
Hey, that's my sis.
And she's a phenomenal pianist. Also just a great light that I'm so happy to be under her tutelage of learning. Dr. Courtney Bryant.
Yes,
she's just very straightforward. I love her energy and I love her light. Thank you so much for tuning in. Siberia's on here talking. And I love that, Tyra. Alina, look, let me tell you, Sunny, you said something really quick, and I'm not going to be long, like the preachers say. When we talk about the word, you know how the preachers be, but when you said ship, and you were talking about the relationship and spiritual aspect, I go back to, as I shared with our viewers, our nightcappers last week, I started grad school. Monday made 3 weeks ago. And just in my readings alone, and I shared with Chuck and Mac, I was like, I'm just so, inspired and motivated by what I've been reading and what I've been learning. And so in one particular reading, I want to say his name is, last name was Cook. I think it's Nathan, but I mean, Nicholas Cook. It was an article that was written by my professor, Professor Sakakini, who had us to read about sound and music. And so I started asking questions like, which came first? Sound. Chuck and I was talking about this last week, or which came first? Music, which one? And so then within the reading, he gave us this other passage. No, Nicholas Cook was the small introduction book. And so it was one passage in there where it says how the body responds to sound and music naturally, right? So it's all different sounds that we have. So it goes to talk about the Catholic Church back in I want to say it was the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s. But what the Catholic Church decided to do was, when, let's just say, the choir sung a song and it was so beautiful, if someone was motivated and felt like standing up and just doing this with their shoulders, the Catholic Church figured that was making somebody aroused. So because they were getting aroused by this sound, this melodious sound that God created, they told all of the parishioners and the churchgoers and musicians, do not write a song or whatever makes somebody have a different arousal or response, natural response that looks promiscuous. Put the word God there, whether it's lyric, whether it's music. And so it brought me back to the relationship and religion, and why I had to let religion go, because Chuck is a preacher's kid as well. I was taught to be scared of God. I was taught to be fearful of what God would do for me, because if you eat this much, God gonna make your heart bust open. If you do this, God gonna strike it down. And so all of these things that I grew up learning, and I began to see things myself. And as God began to speak to me, and ancestors started speaking, and then here we go. Now I'm on a whole different level of seeing things and hearing things from a different mature ear, spiritual mature ear.
Yeah.
I'm able now to connect and understand. And that's why when I call and say, well, Sunny, this spoke to me this way, and I saw this, and what do you think? And Sunny will say, hold up, I'm sending you this. And it's always like I know where to go for my sounding board, for my spiritual connections, because you're so connected to the spiritual source, like you're plugged in that I can put my plug into your what we call those things?
Aux cord.
What's the thing when you have multiple plugs?
Mixer?
No, what's like you plug surge protector. I can plug into your
there
surge
you go. It sounds like.
Yeah, I can plug into your surge protector because I know you're plugged into the source, and you never led me wrong. You never get even Chuck and Mac. I could plug into them and get all type of sounding. Like again, be truthful because honesty can waver. Tell me the truth up front. I don't want your honesty. And so I feel that ever since I came forward and told Chuck and Mac, hey, I want to be a part of the show, I've been able to learn so much about me by staying plugged into their surge protectors and learning. I hope everyone that's on here that you find a way and have that sounding board that you can plug into and make sure that they're telling you the truth, not the honest. Not the honest truth, because that's different. Telling you the truth, like is. Because here's the thing: when people begin to tell you the truth and you don't want to hear it, that's a sign of immaturity because you're not ready to take that next step. You know.
Well, it's something even with that. We just had for Black August. We just had a beautiful panel on just the state of Black education. I'm thinking about one of our guests who's a doctor and friend, Tara Gay. She's at a school out in Atlanta now, but she just does remarkable work. But anyway, she brought something up that is important for us as well when we are doing this work. And it's always about asking, because we say, look, I'm just going to say it and that's that, right? Mm-hmm. But then it goes to, does this person have the capacity at this point to hold this truth?
Ooh.
Right? So it's quite often that this is why strategy is important. This is why we also have to be, it's I don't want to say that we have to live so methodically and that it just has to be, but I do want us to know that there is this thing of strategy. Yeah. Right? That there is this thing where it does go to where I have to, as a truth teller, as like everyone here, and this is not to say that we are determining whether people can handle a truth or not. This is not that type of thing, right? Not in this arrogance sense. Like, man, I'm not about to say they can't handle. You have people that say, man, people can't handle the truth. But no, this is really coming from a space of honoring a person and honoring spirit in such a way for me to ask before a thing is said, is this the right time? Is this really the right place for this at this point? Now, some people can go back and forth and say, well, there is no right time or there is no right place. But the reality is that, yes, there is. And when we are tapped in and tuned in enough, we will always be able to know right time and right place to where we are absolutely able to truly to be able to hold someone in a space when really, because what we are doing is really at this point asking someone when the truth is delivered, what we are really doing is putting this out, and there is an ask. And the ask is, I'm gonna need you to shift these belief systems a little bit. Because here this is. So the same thing with, just like you said, well, this thing of religion. So this is a hard piece, especially when we're looking at this space of being, children of pastors, children of preachers, right? So what happens is there's a whole lot that comes with that. Oh Lord, what's gonna happen when I say this? What's gonna happen when I tell, right? We go through this whole thing, right? So
Well, you
this is a
tickle me with
piece.
that one.
Yeah, this is a big piece here, but it's important to, this is where this thing of courage comes in. This is where this thing of hope comes in. And I'm saying the divine aspect of hope, because hope is not something for cowardly people, because you don't hope for something that you already have. You hope for something that is to come. So this is the thing of, but not some, empty thing of hope and like this blind thing of faith. This is what we are, we've been taught for so long to have this blind kind of faith. But what we know about faith is, what do they say about faith? They use words that give evidence. You understand? So this is something, it's not some blind kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? So this is something that, yes, it may be unseen. This is why the real work is so important. Every gardener knows this. Every person who has worked with land in some kind of way knows this. There's a certain faith that you have to have with putting a seed in soil.
Hey.
There is no way that you're gonna go and be like, let me dig it up. It's still there? Oh yeah, it's still there. Put it back.
Let me take it from the root that it's already started growing and put it back.
Yeah, you understand? And then what happens when you keep doing that? We keep doing that. Let me put myself in this equation. We do something like this. And then what happens? We get upset with ourselves and then now we start talking bad to ourselves, like, damn, I knew I wasn't good at this gardening shit. I knew I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I knew I shouldn't have did something. But that's the beautiful thing again about working with the earth. I was just telling this to another herbalist friend of mine, a sister of mine, Fiona Strong, who's a fantastic herbalist and who teaches this aspect of herbs and plants and everything in Florida. And I'm like, it's so beautiful. And another brother of mine, I'm giving thanks for these people as they're coming to mind. I just want to say their name. So Ross Kofi, right? So we think he's out in Atlanta. So the thing is, the beautiful thing is so much. This is so much. So there's also a quote that says that nobody wants to know God because nobody wants to stoop that low. I said, okay, this is something. So it made me think about plants, herbs, trees, all of these kind of things. In order for a person, and really so much of this thought came because I've heard people quite often, see, humility has gotten a bad rap. And I heard somebody say, a very spiritual person, she said, I'm done with this humility thing. I thought this was deep. But how it's said is because when we look at it, it's because she's attached, she as in most people, attach a particular kind of experience to this aspect of humility. And really that experience still is rooted in a person not being their authentic selves, a person that is not seeing, themselves as worthy, not creating the boundaries. We don't do these things. And then before we know it, we're saying that, oh, I'm just being humble. But the reality is that, no, we're afraid of the success that could come. We're afraid of the attention that could come. So what happens is that we start doing a particular thing and blaming it on humility. But the reality is that it's not humility. It's a false humility, because the reality is that I'm not being myself. Okay, so that's one thing. So here we go with this aspect of humility, right? So going back again, when we look at humility, we look at this word and we look at the colonizer that gave it the definition that we have equated with a low vision and low position and these kind of things, right? So then we have to go back to these other aspects of the word, the HUM that bring us to human, the HUM that brings us to even the things that we eat, hummus, where that comes from and all these kind of things. But the HUM, right? And what this goes to, this aspect of earth. So it's like, oh, the reason why it's said as in low, because it's this thing that comes with earth, this thing that comes with soil. So it's not that it's having a low view of a person's position, but when you look at it from, again, this aspect of a colonizer, certainly it would be this aspect of having a vision and view of you, low-level peasant, because you are the one who tills the soil. You are the one that tends to this land. You are the one that does this. I'll just create the laws that can write you out of the laws, that can write you out of existence. Okay, so when I look at myself through those eyes, certainly what I'm seeing is low. But when I look at and understand the essence of what the earth does, I have to look at the blade of grass. I have to look at the herbs that make me well. I have to look at the plants and the lily of the field and so forth and so on. Because what does it make me do? It makes me bow. When you work with land, when you work with soil, when you work with just to look at a plant, you have to get down.
You got to get on down.
You got to get down. So this is a thing of when we're bowing to one another, this is not just some bowing, oh, this is out of, we do this, but this truly is like, man, I'm bowing to the earth of you. I'm bowing to the divinity of you. I'm bowing to this essence of you that knows, one, how to get up, that knows that you have been created from this rich substance, that knows that you've been created from something that allows things to grow, that all of these kind of things that play a big part. So this is, this is a big thing. We're such a fickle but fantastic people. So
fantastic.
But it goes to it, this is really just about, again, going back to that space of relationship, going back to this thing of putting these parts of myself together, of bringing my whole heart, of bringing my, we can say all of this about God. We sing them songs. I'm thinking about, y'all got me thinking about all these good old church songs now, right? In the song, what's the first line? Jesus, I love you with my whole heart. Not half of it, not some of it, not the little part on the left side, not the right ventricle, not the fourth chamber. My whole, this whole aspect of heart. So when we can come with this aspect of wholeness in this way, when we can come from this space where I'm no longer compartmentalizing myself to fit in these different types of boxes that I have been not even forced. That I have developed a taste to be in. Let me lose this taste outright. Let remove this taste from my palate so that I can always come full. Let me no longer desire the taste of and for separation. Let me no longer desire the taste for low-level thinking of myself. Let me see God as full. Let me see God as me. So this is a thing, and it requires having the courage to remove old thoughts and old thinking that no longer serve this new self that is trying to emerge and become. And so that's the real part. Let me be who I am becoming. That's who I want to be. So in order for me to do that, I have to do, and I don't even want to keep saying, I don't want to say just what we have to do, because then it turns into just even more doing. And really the essence just wants us to be, just wants us to, allow and be receptive. But see, we're so used to doing because we have been living in a masculine state for such a long time that when this essence of intuition comes in, it's seen as imagination. Even though I think imagination is the greatest tool that we have, because if I can see myself outside of myself, then that means that the bridge that I'm building is one that has to connect this self to that self so that I can come in full and meet again who I am becoming. This is the whole thing of this present moment. This is a present moment in order for us to be able to get to the future selves that we are desiring to be, that we are longing to be. But even in that, who I am right now is sufficient.
Hey, look.
Who I am right now is good. Who I am right now is holy. Who I am right now is whole. So that means that what am I doing? I'm doing the next best thing. So even if the next best thing is cleaning out my closet, let me do it. Even if the next best thing is walking my dog, let me do it. Even if the next best thing is getting here, let me do it. So it's just like, let me be.
Yep. I know, let me tell y'all something. I know you guys are enjoying this, but I also know, Sunny, if Bean comes back outside.
Look, they've been hitting this window. I'm surprised y'all ain't here. They've been knocking.
Look, Mazi and Kansu. Wait, you gotta let them meet Kansu. You know that's
They're
my
gone.
baby.
I'm not calling them people. Them people is inside. I'm
Well,
not
look,
calling
here's real quick, Sonny, really quick, because I did mention to Chuck and Mac, we have Tougaloo's homecoming coming up.
Hey.
Hey, and I mentioned to them this idea. I was like, hey, why not? I'm a graduate of Tougaloo Eagle Queen. We love thee. Get
I
myself.
feel like I didn't know that.
Yeah, I graduated 2008 because it was during all of the time during Katrina.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I finished because I was at Dillard, but I finished from
Right.
So
wow,
you, myself, and Queen Mother Mia X.
Hey, yes.
Just coming up to Tougaloo and just doing a profound weekend for the homecoming to not just party and have a good time, but to uplift and motivate the minds of those young and great future leaders, as well as those of us who are there. So I told them, I said, we'll get some things in place and get that together so we can start marketing and sharing that information so the students can be happy and ready and excited. And so, yeah.
Yes. You already know I'm down. I haven't been to Jackson in a while. That's my another family, Tougaloo, and then you already know, like you said, Southern Rural Black Women for Economic and Social Justice.
There you go.
All the good folks. Matter of fact, I just saw, so when dealing with that is of course with Children's Defense Fund. So they were just here. Who was we were just together. Was this in July? No, this wasn't in July. This was further than that because this was Jazz Fest. So Starsky, do you know Starsky? Starsky is, I want to say Starsky is president. Don't let me get the line. But anyway, all of them, we were all just together and everything. So you need a Blackwell, that whole, you need
a Blackwell Young Women's Leadership
Institute. Yeah. So that part is Jackson, my dear brother Carlton Turner, and everybody that's out there with the sip culture and everything. So I think about them. Matter of fact, I just spoke about Carlton because Carlton's nephew, and he's probably, I think so Bean is 13, so he might be like 13 now. But we were at Highlander. Highlander is
Tennessee.
Space out Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, doing all of this work, that's the beautiful part, them alternate routes and everything that we do there. But Carlton's nephew was a baby, and they didn't know at one point what he was allergic to. He would just do this vomiting, right? Projectile like vomiting. This little baby would be doing this vomiting. Turns out that he was allergic to the vaccines. Wow. So what, the only milk he couldn't really nurse, the only milk he could keep down was goat milk. Wow. So this says something about people in Jackson. Well, technically he's in, what's the other, Utica. Is it Utica?
Oh yeah, Hines County, Utica. Yeah.
Okay. So they live, it's a farm or so, right? They live, they have out there his mama and brother, everybody. So anyway, here me, city, I'm like, all right, what y'all getting, a carton? Y'all getting cartons of goat milk or what? They're like, nah, we gotta go. I was like, oh, yeah, that make more sense. Right. I'm like, oh, right, you gotta go. So yeah, so anyway, Jackson I've been talking a lot about Jackson and my family there in Jackson for the past week or so. So that's good stuff.
Well, I think it'll be great. We come. TP Michael said, "Come." He said, "No, come to Antigua."
Yes, that is my sister. So.
I'm sorry.
Tasa, happy birthday to her son.
Happy birthday.
So Tasa is a person who does so much for me when it comes down to this aspect of just the business and answering stuff and getting, because that's the other part with the, how that emails and everything else. So she does a lot. So I'm grateful for her. So she is in Antigua. So we definitely have to go there.
We're ready. My bag. I already have my bags packed.
Listen.
I'm vegan. Can
Yes.
be on your farm. So yeah, but no, I don't know if Mac, if you had any questions. Mac was having some technical difficulties. Mac is our man, professional, just keeping us mentally sound. This brother is so connected and so powerful. So I'm glad you were able to get on. Mac, Sunny Mac.
Hey Mac, I've been seeing them dip in and out.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening and then and soaking it in, and that's why I was, pointing at you on some of the things that you said. Like we try to connect with logic, And I just talked to somebody recently. I said even to this day, from the late '90s, Dr. Amos Wilson message is still relevant. That the rational mind for the Negro is considered to be radical. So anytime we do something that's common sense for us and our people, it's considered to be radical and appalling. How dare that you do that?
Appalling. That's a good one.
So we definitely got to connect that energy and connect our past and understand our past. Somebody posted on Facebook yesterday about music, right? He's big into music. He didn't know the story of B.B. King connected to Lexington, Mississippi. Everybody know B.B. King is from Indianola,
right?
But they're like Beale Street Blues Boy,
right?
But we have a Beale Street in Lexington.
Oh wow!
And so I grew up hearing this all my life, but in 2022, this guy who's a little older than me, he never heard the story. So I'm like, it's so much of our history that we don't know, that we just start writing our own living rooms, writing our own towns, and we don't even know how our history is connected and whose space we in and who influence we have and all those types of things. So I think all what you're saying is very, very important.
That's good stuff.
Hey, look, we got some good stuff. Some nuggets were dropped. Not even nuggets, some buckets. Were dropped tonight. Shout out to Poetic Puff jumping in. Thank you so much. I don't want to say he, she that way. I don't offend anyone, but they said, Sunny, thank you for reminding me that all I am will always be. Thank you for reaffirming the importance and divinity and duty of my gift in poetry. Thank you for putting in digestible term the active intention of relationships, first within self, then with my community surrounding me. Thank you for igniting the fire in me to get involved in word as well as action. One love, Sister Sunny, always and forever. Poetic Alabama, Florida. Nightcap Knowledge, thank you so much for creating this space. Hallelujah, family, blessings. Look, to everyone on here, man, look, power, peace, love, healing, transformation for all of us, because tonight was one that we didn't know it was going to divinely go this way, but divinely, God and our ancestors knew what we needed to hear tonight, also knew what we needed to be fed, for us to be intentional while paying intentional to all that we're doing. Sunny, you always know I love you. Oh my God.
Love you, sis.
I love you.
Already know.
I would love to see my Kansu. I'm gonna have to show my video next week of my baby.
Yes. yes. Listen, he is inside. I got these children that's, this whole conscious parenting thing, they ain't got no schedules and things like this. Would be the problem. They'd be like, damn, why you can't go to sleep at 9 o'clock like these regular children? Bean said one time, now he was little. Bean had to be, Bean was the one that traveled all over with me. All of them did, but Bean more so. It was like, I'm not regular. We're not regular.
What is your son's name?
We call him Bean. His name is Jabril. One is Jabril, that's Bean, and then Mazi, that's Amazia, and then Kansu.
So we call my daughter Bean.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
All them beans, man. Them beans is wild. Them beans is wild.
Beans give you gas.
Yes, yes, sir.
And they can be a pain in the. Okay.
Look, let me tell you again. All I love that I can learn something every time I'm around Sunny and them babies. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I keep saying y'all have to meet Kansu. When y'all meet him and you see how giant he talk like this with a little vocal fry in his voice. And I was telling him to sing. I said, sing, ooh. He went, ooh.
Wait, there she go. Okay, he's the speaker.
I said he's gonna speak for the family. Like, yeah.
He's the speaker. He's the speaker.
And Mozzie's just sitting there. She's so poised. She's like, boy, if you don't get over here, like she's the little mama.
No,
she's like, if you don't get over here.
She really is. Kansu got in trouble at school. He's the little lover. He's the hugger, and he's the, all of them are just super sweet. But that oldest one is a whole nother thing. But Kansu, he got in trouble at school, and the teacher said, I was so surprised he said the B word. I said, Kansu. I said, you.
Oh,
I could say this.
It's not mine. It's not mine.
Uh-oh.
Girl, it's been yours. It's been, now, look. Let me mute her.
Tonya, you have been frozen for me. I've been hearing you, but you've been frozen on this and all night.
Nah, G. Nah. Look, you ain't finna blame this on somebody else.
Oh, you're moving on. Now you're moving. Okay.
I know I was laid back on the couch saying it's not mine because I get accused every week if the Wi-Fi have a problem. And I don't even be at their house.
Oh. Well.
See what I mean?
Now, Sonny, what was the B word that the baby said? Finish the story.
He said he didn't say the B word. I said, what did you say? He said, I said, that's how you talk. He said, I said the D word. I said, well, what's the D word? He said, duh, bitch. I said, that is a B word. Here I go, me. That is still a B word. Buh. Here Mozzie come. This is ridiculous. No child learns their alphabetical sounds by using cuss words. You're better than this. That's how she is. Not, you're better than this. I said, Kansu, you called somebody this? He said, no, I was talking to myself. I said, but the teacher heard you. I was talking to myself. I said, Kansu, what were you saying? I said, well, what happened? He said, a girl hit me. I went to clean up, and then I was talking to myself. I said, so you said, and here I go. I'm getting ready to go back into Mozzie. Don't you say it again. Don't say it again. Don't say it again. I said, Kansu must have gotten that corner because he was very adamant about that. He was talking to himself. I said, he must have gotten that corner. That girl probably hit him, and he must have said, I don't believe that bitch hit me. I said, but either way, Kansu, I said, you can never say that. You cannot say that, Connie.
That's him. Look at him. Isn't he cute?
That is him.
Hey, man.
That's look. They did that one.
I absolutely love kid stories because I have two of my own, and man, I tell them to Mac and Tonya gets things out of Jackson and McRae that are always surprising for me. But that doggone Jackson,
yeah, that's the thing.
Jackson and Kazu, I think they could hang out.
They can hang out.
Yeah,
I believe
about that action.
Look, Action Jackson. That's him.
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. Homecoming weekend. We're gonna see what that's gonna be about.
Yes, I'm about it.
All right.
Negative.
Everybody had a great time tonight, Chuck. You know where we gotta go because we passed some people bedtime. Now make sure y'all follow Sunny on Instagram, Facebook at Sunni Patterson. Make sure you go and support my sister. Follow her, tag her, all of those great things. And y'all know next week, Tuesday, 9 p.m., we're gonna be right back here
Hey,
Hey, it's Virgo season. It's Virgo season, baby. Virgo season. We in the
it
house.
is, Lord. Lord help us. It is.
All of that. We'll see y'all here next week, 9 p.m. DJ George Chuck, Mr. Mac, Tonya Boy Cannon, all the Nightcappers. Please subscribe, send a like. We'll see y'all next week. Peace out.
Peace and love.
Black with no chaser. Nightcap Knowledge. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Central.